Let's make Italian Christmas cookies, some Cuccidati. So this is a special tradition. It's an Italian Christmas cookie. This is actually my Nona's recipe. It's written in script. Look how proper it is. I can't even read it. The recipe is for 10 pounds of flour, 20 eggs. So it's a large batch. They used to give it to their friends. They used to give it to their family. I never got to make this with my Nona, but my mom and I have the recipe. So we put our own spin on it. We use like more of a pie crust. You know how some foods just remind you of the holidays? This is that. Let's rewind the timeline. The star of the show, the figs that have been soaking in hot water in the refrigerator for 3 days. Fresh espresso, candied dried fruit. This is oranges and this is, I don't know, chocolate chips, toasted walnuts, a lot of raisins, maybe use half of this, cinnamon, and vanilla. Some families add a little bit of alcohol too. You can add a little bit if you like. So now we're gonna blend it up in a food processor. My Nona, my dad would tell me, would use this like meat grinder and they would literally grind up the figs and they would make huge batches, like 10 pounds. It'd be like a whole day event making these Cuccidati cookies every Christmas and make so many and then give them away to all their friends and family. Like, hey, Mamma Mia, check out this out. You want a cup of coffee? This is a nice cookie. It definitely has some like Arab influence. You could see with the ingredients like the dried fruit, the figs. Some people add dates to it. It's a southern Italian cookie, so think about the Arab occupation of Sicily. That's where my father's from. This is like the original fig Newton, I would say. So let's just blend half of this first. We want to get the right consistency. The fig juice to make it blend up. Okay. A handful of raisins, and I'm gonna make this really smooth. Cinnamon. No, I actually like cinnamon. I made cinnamon buns, so I like it. Vanilla a little bit because another one of my favorite things. Secret ingredient. Salt because it brings out the flavor. A little bit of honey. The figs are naturally sweet. It's not gonna come out. I hate touching sticky things, and these figs are sticky. This is sticky. Everything is sticky. Okay, so now we're gonna blend this up and make it fine. Fine like a fine wine. Now we're gonna take it out. Unfortunately, I never got to make this with my Nona, but her spirit lives on, and I feel like she's making it here with me right now. And that's the special thing about cooking and doing something that brings back memories, because energy never dies. Like, we never die because the spirit lives on. The traditions still live on. The memories always live on. Candied dried fruit, candied orange peels. It adds a very like unique flavor to it. It's very strong too. Don't add so much. Toasted walnuts in there and just break them up a little bit. Okay, I add the nuts in here. Imagine making 10 pounds of these. It's gonna take like all day. Well, you gotta make enough cookies to feed the village or feed the town, just like they did back in the day. Finally, add some chocolate chips. That was really good. This is a Cuccidati cookie that we bought in the store, so you could take a look at it. This looks a little bit different from how it normally is. We're gonna put a lot more figs in there. So now this sets for a few hours, and we're gonna make the dough when we feel like it. So we'll see you soon. Peace. And we're back. We're gonna make the Cuccidati dough. Again, here's the original recipe from my Nona, handwritten. I can't even read it. It's so proper. 10 pounds of flour, 20 eggs. Make it for the whole village. If it's written on a piece of paper like this, you know it's legit. This is our take on it. We still respect the tradition, but you know, we add a little spin to it. We're gonna make a pie crust, one from my cooking school, pate brise, flour, sugar, and salt. You know, I wasn't good in culinary school. We learned like the fundamentals of French cuisine. So that's like how to cut things properly, how to cook meat, how to cook fish, how to cook potatoes, how to cook vegetables, how to make stocks. It was very fun actually. And we had some French instructors too, which were traditional, so in a way they were beneficial. The last part of the class, we had this demo to pretend like we're in a restaurant even though we're not. So we had to cook an appetizer and a main course in 1 hour and like multitask, and then the chefs would try it and rate our food. So surprisingly, I did very poorly in like all the modules, but then when we got to like the restaurant part, you know I shined because I showed up for service, you know, I was ready to feed food to you. But I always tried to help my classmates, even though some of them didn't try to help me. You know, I was always trying to make the team better. But then when I was just focusing on myself and cooking myself, then Chef Michael came out. You know, I don't like to do recipes all the time, but in culinary school, I was doing the recipe. Flour, sugar, salt. Fold the butter in. So I'm gonna mix this until the butter gets shaggy. Not a lot of dough. Maybe I should make some more. I definitely will make some more. See you tomorrow. So we're back, it's another day, got my red on. Now it's time to roll out the Cuccidati. This is a labor of love. Fig spread from the other day that's been sitting in the refrigerator. I just roll it out into like thin logs, like this, and use your imagination to see what that looks like. This is so we can just put it in the cookie right away. Dough from the other day, brought it to room temperature, take a rolling pin, you gotta use your hands. Imagine doing the traditional recipe that my Nona made, 10 pounds of this all-day process. And my dough is not traditional, it's more of like a pie crust. The traditional dough, again, they would use lard, they would use milk. This is a little bit different. Cinnamon bun days, you know, I know how to roll the dough out. This is a shout out to my Nona. She's with me right now, rolling it out in spirit. Let's cut it in half now. Big filling, and this is more than the bakery because it's home style, you know. Last year I filmed a TikTok video and I mentioned how this cookie is a blend of cultures and history in a way. It has like a Middle Eastern feel to it, I feel like. And now I'm making it this year because of the Arab occupation of Sicily. So we all like the same things, we all spread our culture. Sometimes the history wasn't in the best ways, but now let's roll it up. I'm gonna cut some of this dough and save it. Let's cut pieces now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And now we score this here like a fishtail. We eat 7 fishes, Italian American tradition. Score the top like this, 1, 2, 3, so it looks nice. 1, 2, 3. Look how much figs. We packed it in. We're going in the oven now. Look at this. The first couple trays, 350 degrees Fahrenheit for about 20 minutes. Every culture now has like a holiday treat, holiday dessert, holiday cookie, holiday dessert, Mamma Mia, holiday food, holiday, you know, it's the holidays. I wish you well. I wish your family, friends, everyone joy for the holidays. Every time should be a joyful time. Now I'm gonna make the frosting. This is essential. Even though I don't like frosting, just a little bit is nice for this. Powdered sugar, a little bit of vanilla extract, some warm water. When you close down a bakery business, you have a lot of leftover flour and sugar. Okay, that's good. The shine. Mamma Mia, fresh out of the oven. Right, you sound like a reindeer. You gotta make sure these coolies have been cooling for almost an hour. If you don't let them cool, the frosting is gonna slide right off. I'm not a fan of sprinkles, but some things you just need to put sprinkles on. These circular sprinkles, I don't know, they just go well with this. Like if they don't have circle sprinkles, they're not like so Mamma Mia in my opinion. It's gotta have the circle sprinkles, not like the longer one. You know what I'm saying? We filled it up. You can't get it filled like this anywhere. Where can you get these cookies if you ask? My house. Everyone come to my house, get some fig cookies. Other than that, probably a bakery in New York. If you're not in New York, I don't know, just come to my house. Sicilian, Southern Italian cookie called the Cuccidati. This just tastes like Christmas to me. Nice sweet figs, honey, chocolate, candied citrus, a little bit of vanilla, cinnamon. I love it. The coffee too, very well balanced dessert. Happy holidays, send you good energy. And before I go, everyone talks about the holidays as a time to give thanks and be joyful for what you have and also be in good spirits. You know, I stand by that. I want to share with you a good story that happened. So last week I went to the Chinese grocery store with my grandmother. I always go to the Chinese grocery store with her. It was the busiest day of the year. We were online and the line was all the way in the back by the dairy. Literally 50 people deep, like a huge line. I guess many people are shopping for the holidays. I've never been in there so busy. When my grandma goes to the Chinese grocery store, she likes to flex and speak English to everyone. Like she'll go to the Chinese butcher, she'll go to the fish people and start speaking English. Like, can I have one piece of like so proper English? And it's funny because I try to speak Chinese to them and they're looking at my grandma, they're looking at me and they're like, what is going on? You know, I'm like, ni hao, like a little bit more than that, okay? So anyway, we're standing in line. There's like 50 people in front of us and we don't even know if it's the line. In the history of shopping with my grandmother for groceries, this is the longest line ever. Holiday season, crazy. So my grandmother goes to the woman in front of us who wasn't Asian. She speaks English. She's like, is this the line? And then the woman turns around. She's so pleasant. She has her little daughter in the cart. And she's like, oh, let me check for you. So she goes all the way in the front while her daughter's there. And I was like, I'll watch your daughter. She comes back like a second later. She's like, yes, this is the line. She told me, she's like, oh, if your grandmother wants to buy more food, I'll watch your cart. I was like, oh, thank you. That's so nice of you. As I'm waiting online, my grandmother is going to get the meat and other things. So talking to her and like very friendly energy, right? We finally move up a little bit, like 20 people. We get to the meat station, and my grandmother's getting like pounds of meat. So I was like, hey, can I run over and help her? So I get off the line, she watches my cart, I go help my grandmother, I bring the meat back, and we start talking. And then she's also wearing a hat that says like Morocco on it, and that was the day where Morocco played Croatia. So I was like, hey, you know, Morocco. She's like, yeah, they lost. And her daughter was sitting in the cart, but she wasn't running around or like being so curious. She was very well behaved. Anyway, this woman wasn't Asian. She felt really comfortable in this Asian supermarket on one of the busiest days of the year, and I was just like so like taken back. I was like, wow, this woman is special, and her child is well behaved. So we pay, we say happy holidays. I'm finally putting the stuff in the car, and my grandmother goes to get in the car, and then the same woman with her kid comes by because her car is down there, and she's like, here, I want to give this to you. And she gives us a whole box of orange juice. She's like, hey, this is good, you'll like it, here's a box, happy holidays. And me and my grandmother are like, Mamma mia, we're like, wow, this is so nice, how lovely this woman is. We ended up giving her some persimmons. A nice exchange, it was a nice trade, and it felt really good that someone was so kind and generous and joyful just for no reason, and she was having a good time in an environment that might not be so comfortable. So I think the lesson here is that we make our own discomfort. You know, I feel more uncomfortable in the Chinese supermarket than she does, and I go there every week. I feel like we create our own chaos in our mind. She really taught me to go through life with more of a joy, with more of an ease, with more of, I want to have great experience type of energy, and she really made our day. And I just want to tell you that because it was a simple act of kindness that we didn't expect that really makes the difference, really makes your day. Yeah. Okay, happy holidays, wish everyone well, peace.